Happy St. Patrick's Day. Hello and welcome to the St. Patrick's Happy Hour at the Cool Table. I wanted to do my Jim Halpert doing Angela's Ashes accent when we first started and say, Angela's Ashes, top of the morning to it. Frankie's Froze is a pot of gold, say I, but it's terrible. Hello, everyone. I hope you're enjoying your St. Patrick's Day at home and not in a skeezy bar. I'm Beth. I'm the co-owner of the Cool Table, and this is the rest of the Cool Table, or at least a lot of them. Say hi, ladies.
Hello. Going to the store to get me some butter. That's the only thing in Irish that I say.
Nice. I like it.
Thank you. And I brought my Guinness.
We have to be drinking tonight. I know that sometimes we don't drink, but it's a happy hour and it's St. Patrick's Day. So we're drinking and we will be getting drunk before the night is over. I'm having a Pinot Gris, which is not Irish, but I didn't have any Guinness. So
I was going to go easy because I have a PTA meeting after this. I'm on the West Coast. It's only 5 o'clock over here. I was going to go easy. And then my husband was like, did I hear St. Patrick's Day? And he pulls out Irish whiskey. So that's what I'm drinking tonight. It comes in a black bottle. So we'll see how I feel in a little bit here.
I'm excited for that.
I'm a little scared.
Hi to everybody in the chat. Rachel, Emma, Brett, Vicky, Sheila, Shelly. Hi. I'm so glad that you guys are here. If you're seeing this on Twitter, don't scroll away. Retweet it into your feed and tell everybody how much fun you're going to have. Go grab a drink. It is literally happy hour wherever you are. So drink with us. Go ahead.
Heidi, why do you need to be sober for your PTA meeting? I am always drinking at mine.
They're discussing reopening plans. We've been in distance learning since a year ago, March of a year ago. And so they're talking about reopening next week. And I have a ton of questions that I want to ask. And there's just no way that I'm going to get those out. So I'll just email that principal tomorrow.
Could you write them down and Mark can ask?
Yeah, but I don't trust him to ask them. I have to ask them. I'm a control freak, Beth.
No,
it's got to be me.
I get it.
What questions do you have besides what time do you open and when can I drop my kid off?
Oh God, so many more. I'm way more neurotic than that. I want to know if everyone's vaccinated. I want to know what they're going to be teaching. I want to know who's going to be touching my child. I'm totally the insane one.
Well, I'll try to assuage your fears. I don't know what your school district is doing, but our kids have been in school. My high schooler's been in school the whole year, 2 days a week. And my middle schooler has been in 5 days a week since the second 9 weeks.
Yeah.
And they're great. Even without vaccinations, there's been no school spread. People that get it
have they outgrown the whole putting things in their mouths stage?
Yes. But I mean,
they're in high school. No.
My middle schooler did get the flu last year. So her hygiene was suspicious, a little sus on whether or not she was going to not do well, but she's done great. I mean, her hands are fully chapped. I mean, all the way up to her wrists, they're very chapped from constantly cleaning them. So they're doing good. They're doing good.
The only reason I'm really we have a choice. We don't have to go back. It's totally this weird hybrid thing. The only reason we're doing it is just because my kids are getting so weird. My son's no one can touch me and have you washed your hands? And my youngest won't go anywhere without a mask on. And she asks me if I have extra in my purses. So I'm it's time for you guys to go and be around some normal people. I'm weirding you guys out.
Yeah.
It sounds like you should put him in Catholic school if he's really good about nobody touch me.
We call him our hall monitor. He's very good at following rules. Very good at following rules.
Yeah. Which is very weird for a middle child.
Right.
Sorry, I'm trying to send this link to my boyfriend.
The link of tonight, what we're doing?
Yeah.
Well, I hope he watches. Rachel just said all the schools are like Petri dishes. This is probably the cleanest they've ever been. Mm-hmm. It's very, very, very true. My kids, don't get sick very often. And they have not been sick at all this year. But I mean, my kids don't get sick anyway, really. But I breastfed for so long.
So did I, and they still get sick.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Look at these, 18 months, baby. 18 months.
27 months with Emerson, I think, somewhere around there.
My youngest was almost 3, and my husband was finally it's got to stop. This needs to stop.
Yeah.
What are they even getting anymore besides just?
No, it's not about them at 3. At 3, it is not about them. It's all about me and my neuroses and a mom and my baby's gone and I need to hold you while you fall asleep.
So. Yep.
Gotcha.
Basically, it's I don't want to know when the last time I'm going to nurse is. So I'm just gonna let it happen, and it, then it happens. That's why when I say 27 months, I'm not sure that's accurate. That's what I think it was.
I have a memory of being at the park with all my kids, and we needed to leave. So I told my son, like, go get your little sister. And he said, I know how to get her. And he yells across the park, Lele, Mama's got boo-boos for you. And she and ran towards me. So like she was old enough to stop. There was no reason for that to still be happening.
We were going on vacation and leaving like at 4:30 in the morning, and I was just like, I don't have to, because I only at the end was just doing it in the morning, and I was like, I'll do it later, and then I never did it, and she never asked for it, and she was over it, and I'm like, well, I guess we're done.
Yeah. I only did it at night. Emerson used to come get in the bed with me at 3 a.m. every night, and so that's when we would do it.
That's cute.
I know, I miss it. I mean, she's 14. I don't miss it, but like, I'm still a mom. All right. So let's get started talking about what has been like a positive, fun thing you want to talk about in the last month. Like we had a happy hour on New Year's-ish, right? Since then, or in the last couple of weeks, what's like your happy moment? You have one?
Well, today I went to an in-person bar class. They have built little bar pods. But I haven't been in a while because I went to South Carolina to visit my mother. Then I came back and I did the right thing. I quarantined, but I went to bar. I worked my ass off, and then they gave us green Jell-O shots.
Fun.
So I actually brought a spoon in here. I'm just gonna kind of eat it with a spoon.
I just want to see you hork it down. Just do the whole
The thing is, I don't. Okay, hold on. See,
you don't have to hork it if you don't want to.
Well, I mean, I don't really like Jell-O.
Did you put the whole thing in your mouth?
Mm-hmm.
Good job. Excellent. Yay, Shallon's here. And Crystal. Okay, Crystal's big one for this month is that she got vaccinated. Me too. That was my happy moment. I got vaccinated a week ago today, my first Pfizer shot. My husband got it. My 16-year-old got it because she has an autoimmune disorder. And we are, our state or our county is on 1C now. And I have never been more relieved to do something medical ever in my life. I just felt this huge weight lifted off our shoulders. We go back on March the 30th to get our second shot. And so by Easter, we'll be ready to party. So excited. I'm coming to see everybody. I don't care who you are. I will be at your door. I will be a vaccinated asshole saying, did you get coffee for me? I'm here.
I'm going to get you a Coca-Cola. That legitimately tasted like cleaning fluid, but cool.
The coffee and Coke?
No. The Jell-O shot.
Oh,
I'm dying for that coffee and Coke. Have you gotten one yet?
No, I haven't got one because I haven't had soda in years, but I'm dying for the coffee and Coke. It looks so good. Has anybody had that in the chat? Oh, man. I'm so excited about everybody talking about getting vaccines.
Yeah.
I'm eligible. I just can't. I've been unable the last 2 rounds to get an appointment because in Rhode Island, it's insanity. But yeah, I'm glad everyone else get theirs. There's this store that's in New England. It's called Benny's. It's kind of like a weird Kmart. It's like toys, tires, and cleaning supplies, but they all went out of business. So they're doing vaccinations in the old abandoned Benny's. And my dad got his vaccine in an old abandoned Kmart. So I'm kind of hoping for that synergy,
Yeah.
So.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Bea just said that she manipulated her Trumpist parents into going by withholding her grandkids.
That is genius.
Genius.
It works, man. It works until they can drive. Like I could have told my dad, go get your vaccine. You can't see Ella. And he's like, she can just come over. I'm like, yeah, sure. Right, she can. And I would never be able to separate them. I don't know if you know anything about my dad and my oldest daughter, but they're like best friends.
That's so
it's adorable.
Sweet.
It's adorable.
Yeah.
Sweet.
So what's y'all's happy?
I feel like I've been such an Eeyore. Like the distance learning has sucked my soul. But I guess my happy is that The Bachelor's finally over. I don't have to write about that until May, And as far as being vaccinated, I don't know if it's because California is so gigantic, or I don't know because we're relatively more, actually a lot more progressive than many other states, that there's more people willing to get it. But I probably won't be able to get vaccinated until like May, June. I hope by then, hopefully.
Once they start cranking out that Johnson & Johnson goodness, like full
Mhm.
speed, I watched the Biden speech last Monday with Frenchie and with Ruby, and I just got so emotional when he was like giving dates, and he was like, by May 1st, you'll all be eligible. And I'm just like it's happening. I'm
So-
gonna go lick a stranger.
Yeah. Just the idea that we can like move, we can go somewhere, we can see a person, we can get on a plane without, just this abject fear.
Yeah.
It just took a huge relief. The fact that when he said May 1st for all adults, I was like, oh, there's an actual light at the end of the tunnel. It's not fake anymore. It's not out there. It's not going to, and my problem, the reason I was able to get it at all is what you just said, Heidi. There's nobody in Tennessee getting it. I literally, when I went to my stylist today, she was like, I've had a lot of people come in sitting in here telling me not to do it. And she wants it and is wary about it because so many people have been telling her not to do it, like nurses. And I'm like, do it. There's not a single scientist person working in this field who is saying that it's not worth getting. Are you out of your mind? Don't listen to these people.
I'm shocked at the science that people will pick and choose to listen to. It makes me mental.
It's not about that they're picking and choosing science. They're picking and choosing ideologies
Well, of course,
finding science to fit that ideology. And the ideology of not getting vaccinated doesn't even make any sense to me. I don't understand that ideology at all.
I'm fine to say like, yeah, you're really screwing me. I feel like there should be a cutoff if you've had by like July 31st, if you've had the opportunity to get a vaccine and you don't, and then you get COVID, you have to just live with it.
Yeah. I mean, I just don't. My problem is when they say screw the libs, they actually are screwing libs like me who live in red states.
Yeah.
Like I still am not going to feel comfortable sending my daughter to certain people's homes or whatever, even though she'll be fully vaccinated. Like it's still a pain in my ass.
Yeah.
And that's why it sucks because I still won't be able to like live my life.
Yeah.
I'll just come visit y'all.
Come to Rhode Island.
I'm just going to take the longest road trip of all time this summer. And she's like, I'm here. I'm vaccinated and I'm going to get naked. I need to be like, attractive and other people be like you're attractive and be like let's hang out, let's dance, let's get drunk, and I'm gonna be like yes, let's do this.
I want to crash a wedding, but an early-ish wedding because I don't really want to stay out that late dancing, and typically the dancing at weddings happens a little bit earlier. But I do love that your vision of this involves nudity, Beth. I love that. Like
100%. 100%. My sister texted me yesterday and wanted to borrow a dress for her daughter from me. Apparently I'm the same size as her 13-year-old daughter. And she was like, does she have a dress that she can wear to like some event? And I was like, well, what kind of event? And it's like a, homeschool prom kind of thing. And I was like, maybe, but she wanted it like kind of casual. And I was like, yeah, I've got I started looking at all these dresses that are tiny and totally appropriate for teenage girls. I was like, I've got this one and this one and this one and this one. And I was like, I have a lot of slutty stuff. And she's like, oh, she wants something mid-calf level. And I was like, well, I don't have that. I don't have anything that hits mid-calf.
You love because you go to that Christmas party where you know no one and you're like, I'm the hoe for show tonight.
Every year. And then I just found out, okay, so my husband gets invited to this Christmas party every year that it's not his work. It's like a vendor. Mm-hmm. And it's at this really fancy place in Memphis and it's at the rooftop and all of this stuff. And we do not know a soul. And so I sled it up every year. And he just told me recently that all the men that work at that vendor talk about me all year long.
Isn't that what you want?
Yes.
Good.
Absolutely. I wanted to be like, oh, that hot blonde, that's Ryan's wife. And him be like, all year. They're like, what's your wife going to wear to the Christmas party this year? That is my whole aesthetic. That's all I want.
Yeah.
I love it.
Like sometimes I want you to catcall me, motherfucker.
When my husband's next to me.
Beth, you could pull out your dress you wore to the Bridgerton, the costume you wore to our Bridgerton watch party. You could pass that on for the banquet, the homeschool banquet.
It's a little booby.
Oh, it is. You're right.
Yeah. It is perfect in that it goes from shoulder to neck to ankle, though. You never
The
know.
idea of a homeschool prom makes me sad.
This one isn't even a prom, it's a protocol, guys.
What is a protocol?
Okay. So a protocol is places that don't have proms and they're like classical, which is what my kids used to go to, is like a classical school. They have these things where you learn etiquette and you learn how to sit at tables together, and then you do like waltzes. It's kind of like Jane Austen-y with all this like political etiquette stuff that you have to do as well. They get to dance, but they are almost like square dancing in that they had to learn the dance first. That kind of thing.
Cute.
The quadrille.
Kind of, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's cute, but it's also really sad because they're doing that also when they're like 18. It's not just like a middle school thing. They do it. That's what they get if they go to those schools in high school. It's kind of
That's
sad.
such repression. I bet the guy who killed all those people in Atlanta probably went to something like that.
Yeah.
If he
Won't won't.
went anywhere. Ugh. You brought it down, Amy.
I'm sorry. You know what? I'm mad because a Guinness out of a can sucks.
Aw.
Oh no.
It's all right. I'm gonna still drink it.
My wine is excellent.
It just doesn't have enough jus or carbonation or something.
Yeah. You
And
don't
there's
get any
some kind of-
foam with it, right?
Not really.
That's dark.
Meredith, what sounds like an indie movie? A protocol? A protocol ball? Or me going to Ryan's workplace dressed like a huge slut.
No, what there is there's this homeschool protocol, and then they need someone to come in to teach them, and Ryan's slutty wife comes in and teaches them. It's called Protocol by Ryan Murphy on Netflix this fall.
I would love that. Can I star, and can it also be musical, and can I
Oh, it's a
break out
total
into-
musical, but you
break out
can't
into
have
song?
no James Corden because no.
No. And no Stephen Sondheim, because I cannot take that kind of singing. I hate it. I hate it. One Saturday morning recently, Ryan was up really early because he gets up early every day. And he was up really early and he was in the living room, which is right there, watching Into the Woods. And I was trying to sleep, and all I heard was Into the Woods. And I was like, what a terrible way to wake up. Some fucking Sondheim. It was terrible. Ugh.
Who watches Into the Woods at 7, like in the morning on a Saturday?
He just turns on whatever is running live.
Yeah.
He doesn't care.
I haven't watched anything live unless it's MSNBC or tennis. I don't think I've not watched anything live.
Ryan has watched 3/4 of a movie every day for the past year.
I was my addiction lately at night is I moved up from the Tuesday crossword puzzle. I'm now into the wonderful Wednesday crossword puzzles of the New York Times. But sometimes I don't know things, so I look things up. I have no shame. I don't cheat. I look it up online to see if I can figure it out. And they ask a lot of questions about the musical Damn Yankees. Like the New York Times loves that musical. So I did like the Wikipedia plot synopsis of Damn Yankees, and I thought I had taken shrooms. And yet somebody had made this musical, and it's like famous, and it's about literally like someone like drugging someone to think that they could be the best baseball player. And then there's some hoochie woman named Beth/Lola, and whatever Lola wants, Lola gets. And it makes no sense in any way. So I feel like Stephen Sondheim could have written that, but he did not anyway. Damn Yankees, 2 stars.
I wonder if the music is good.
It actually is. Well, so I grew up, my parents got married super young, and they moved into this condo when my mom was super pregnant, and the older couple across the hallway was retired and home all the time, so they just took care of me. And so they became like my grandparents. They're amazing. Vincey and Major taught me everything I know and love, taught me how to sew, how to cook, everything. Well, that's not a huge compliment to their abilities. They're much better at all those things than I am. But they were super into musicals and the Sunday Times, and now it all makes sense why I had to watch Damn Yankees like over and over, and that one and South Pacific and all the classics. But Damn Yankees isn't really a classic, but
No.
I think it is.
Cabaret. I was like 6 watching Cabaret and Damn Yankees in their living room, and then we'd work on the crossword puzzles together. It explains a lot, actually.
I love that.
That is kind of great.
Yeah.
That's
I was watching
cute.
like Easter cantatas.
Oh yeah, they were like you know, I grew up in a super conservative Christian family, so like they were super edgy, and we would go
Oh,
out
yeah.
to lunch and they would drink like martini on the rocks. That's how I learned about anything having to do with alcohol. They'd give my little brother the olive from the martini, and I was like, he's going to hell. Don't tell my mom. Kyle's going to hell.
That's like you're answering the question from Las Culturistas. Like when they're like, the question, when did you know that culture was for you? And that was when you went across the hall and hung out with, what is their
100%.
names?
So it was Vinci and Major.
Vinci
Yeah.
and Major.
Is that
Oh,
their
Major.
actual names?
Their actual names, Vinci
Those
and
are
Major.
great names.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Vinci was married and divorced. Well, she's still married. She's still alive, but married and divorced 3 times. Like served in the military. She's worked for Chevron. She's a badass.
I
She's
love her.
Bea just said she's so excited for In the Heights. She cries every time she sees the preview. I cannot
Looks
wait
good.
for In the Heights. Emma asked if we're excited. I cannot wait. I love Anthony Ramos. I don't love Lin-Manuel Miranda as much anymore.
Yeah.
I know that's sacrilege to some folks, but I met him in person and I didn't think he was nice.
He
So-
wasn't
did you meet
nice.
him?
at Comic-Con, and he was just kind of really standoffish. He felt very like most celebrities in that setting are like, "Hi, how are you?" You know, smile. He was like snooty.
Mm.
It sucked because you would think that he would be like, you think he'd be like Zachary Levi, like talking to everybody and just like fist bumping everybody and being super cool. And he was not. He was a little full of himself, or he was having a bad day. I mean, it could be either one, but I was not impressed.
I had a feeling that he might be over because my 5-year-old is really obsessed with him, and so every time he shows up in anything, she's like, "It's Lin-Manuel Miranda, it's Hamilton," and she also feels that way about Zac Efron. So I'm gonna start using her as like my cultural zeitgeist or whatever it is, a pinnacle of what is cool and what's not. Because once she thinks it's cool, it's no longer cool, guys.
Right.
She's fine.
Is she a Greatest Showman fan?
Oh yeah, over and over.
Well, there you
and
go.
Over and over and over and over.
Yeah, there you go.
That's my Sondheim. I mean, that's my, you know. I mean, Lin-Manuel Miranda was probably grumpy because that show was boring AF. And like my kid who loves anything wild, witchy, and fantasy was like, I'm not watching this anymore. It's so boring.
What,
Sorry.
his Dark Materials?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, it was super boring.
It was bad.
And that's what he was there for. I mean, I wouldn't
Yeah.
want to be doing press for something that shitty either. Rachel just said she's loving his Dark Materials, which was made by the same woman, founded production company that did A Discovery of Witches.
Sorry, Rachel.
Well, she needs to get better at writing fantasy material because it's not great. Neither one. I mean, I loved A Discovery of Witches to an extent, and then it's just not good anymore. Y'all need to go watch A Hangout of Witches to get my whole spiel on that. Alicia just said she loves him. Don't ruin him for me. You can love him. Like I said, he could have been having a bad day, but most celebrities, when they're on at Comic-Con, are cool and excited to be there, at least for the hour that you're doing press with them.
Right. It's
and-
your job. Do your job.
Right. And he was shitty. He was not on. He was
You
on
should've
when the big cameras were on him. And then when it was small press time, he was snotty. And so that says a lot, I think.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he could have had diarrhea. I don't know.
You weren't wearing one of your Christmas party dresses. Is what
I
I'm
was
taking
not.
from this.
Although I do, I do try to look extra slutty during Comic-Con. I wear.
I love that that's your out for him. Or he could have had diarrhea. I mean,
Because I love Hamilton and I love In the Heights and I love his music. I mean, I think he's the Moana music is great. I think he's a little overrated, but I mean, it was like a cultural moment, and we all have to say that we like it. So I like it, but you know, most people know can be cool in that moment, and he cannot. So, or he was not.
I hear
Just
you.
wanna say.
I'm picking my nose and I can watch myself do it. There you go. Sorry.
Speaking of Zachary Levi, anybody love Mrs. Maisel? I love Ms. Maisel.
It's
Love it.
I refuse
Super
to watch
good.
Miss Maisel.
Why?
Everyone says you need to watch it. I see the preview and I'm just not watching it.
It's really good.
Give a shit.
It's good. You should.
Oh man, it's good. I mean,
Yeah.
I will rewatch Ted Lasso 4 more times before I watch Miss Maisel.
but the thing that I didn't like about Mrs. Maisel, and this has nothing to do with the show really, is the fact that it sweeped the Emmys
Yeah.
2 years in a row, and it didn't deserve all those Emmys. So it's a good show, but it's not deserving of every acting Emmy that's out there.
When Elizabeth Jennings does not have an Emmy, the
Right.
Emmys are trash.
Right. I mean,
Fuck
it,
you, Elise.
And it's really shitty to like sit down and know like you've watched all the shows that are nominated, or you've watched all the women that are nominated for an award, and you know it needs to go to Kerry Russell, or you know it needs to go to whoever, and it goes to the same person who won last year. That's a shitty feeling. It will turn you off on a show like that. And that's how I felt about Miss Maisel.
That's how I felt about Modern Family years ago.
I never, ever, ever watched a single episode of Modern Family.
I liked the first season.
Mhm.
I thought it was cute and funny. But now, is it even still on? I don't know.
Is it?
I don't know.
I have no idea.
I would have no idea either, but I do know that like Steve Carell never got an Emmy.
Yeah.
Oh,
And
ever?
that's fucking crazy. No, he did not get an Emmy. He got a Golden Globe.
Wow.
Yeah.
Because
Amy. Oh, Meredith's like Ted Lasso. I love
It's
Ted
good.
Lasso.
Ted Lasso
Yeah.
was
So
good.
good.
Everybody's
In fact,
talking about Ted Lasso, and I haven't watched it yet.
I
It's
was at home in South Carolina, just hanging out with my dad, keeping him company. And he was like, I want to watch a show together. And I was like, what can we watch? What can we watch? And he'd watched every single Western that I could think of, except for Deadwood. And I'm not a monster. I said this on Twitter. I'm not going to make George watch Deadwood. And then I was like, oh, I have free Apple TV because I had just upgraded my daughter like to an iWatch or something. And they give you free Apple TV. I mean, we were hooked from jump. Every night, George would be like, it's Ted Lasso time.
Aw,
And we just
fun.
loved it. It's so sweet and pure and kind. And the women, the friendships of the women in that show, I mean, it was wonderful. I can't say enough good things about Ted Lasso.
Yeah, it
Yeah,
was good.
I've heard awesome things.
And it was kind
Um,
of horny too, like, which is, was good. Not for Ted Lasso. I didn't want him to fuck anybody. He wasn't whatever his name is.
Jason
The-
Sudeikis.
Yeah.
Or
him.
Jason Sudeikis and his Olivia Wilde going for Harry Styles. I have to say, if it were between Jason Sudeikis and Harry Styles, I'm going with Harry Styles. I mean,
Every time.
I could not be hornier for Harry Styles, despite the fact that he is
I just
so
realized
young.
I kind of look like Jason Sudeikis at the Emmys now.
Yeah, he did.
It's the only green thing I own.
Yeah.
But everybody is saying that, like, maybe she left him, but maybe Justin left her. And
Jason.
Justin could suck. Yeah, Justin.
I feel like the whole Ted Lasso thing is kind of what's happening because he's going on tour. Harry's going on tour in England or recording a new album or something in England. So
Mhm.
she's going back there to stay with him and bring the kids and be like custody with Jason because he's filming in
Mm.
London. It is Ted Lasso. It's his life. He's living it. It's very sad.
Mm.
Yes.
Well-
Meredith says the soccer guys on Ted Lasso are hot. Yeah, there's like one brooding, grumpy man. He's like the Derek Craven of soccer. He's
Oh,
just
my
a
goodness.
grumpy asshole, and he just needs to get pounded and pound somebody, and it's nice.
That will get me into a show real fast. Tell me that there's a Derek Craven in the show.
Yes.
So Amy asked us a while ago, has anyone seen WandaVision? It was so good, and we were going to talk about it. Amy?
I finished it last night, cried my eyes out. So I have watched Black Panther, and I think I've seen the first Avengers. I haven't seen the Snap one, but I know there's another. I don't know which ones I've seen, but that's the only Marvel thing that I've seen. But I knew enough about them being in love to, get the gist of it. I loved that in the beginning, the episodes were like 23 minutes long. That's perfect for me. And then I was watching it last night alone in my house. And when it's Wanda and Vision, first of all, I was like 4 episodes in where I finally realized that it wasn't Wanda, that WandaVision is also because his name is Vision, not because it's like television. I was like, oh, I'm stupid. But when she knows that her universe, her world has to end and they're saying goodbye to each other and they have that moment of knowing like this is our goodbye, I got super emotional about my divorce. And like how I never had like that moment with my ex-husband of like, well, this is our last goodbye. Because when you're divorcing, you just kind of want to just get away from each other as quickly as possible, and everything's ugly, and there's no like, and it just like made me so sad. And then I was weeping, and then I went upstairs, and I have like my little forgiveness crystals that I have, and I got my pink, like I think this is pink calcite, and then my Apache tear, and I was like holding them last night, and I was like, "Damn you, Wanda!" But I loved it. I thought it was sweet and funny, and I was like wondering if I was about to die with my person, but also my kids, who would I want to be dying with instead of just leaving them up in the, not that she was dying, but anyway. And then my other favorite part about WandaVision was when she went to whatever their big giant headquarters of government people are, she just drives up like in a regular Chevy, and the bitch can fly, and that just made me laugh that like she's there like in a 5-speed getting out of her Geo or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, we watched it every week, and I mean, so it was appointment television for Ryan and I. Like, I mean, I've seen the all 22, 23 Marvel movies or whatever, and I mean, I'm not super into the comics, but I did read like a little bit of like theory stuff. And I think for the most part, people figured out what was going on ahead of time, kind of figure out where it's going. You can kind of tell where the movies are headed to. And I felt like it was a decent show, but it just was too gimmicky for what's coming next. Like Wanda and Vision are not super developed in the movies. Their love is not developed. I mean, the most you get out of their love scene is what you get in WandaVision. That's flashbacky. And so it just feels like, for me, I just felt like it was a way to make money. I mean, it just felt very I felt very like a consumer watching it. And I mean, I think that some of the conceit of the show is like to make you feel like a consumer, right? There's all those little like ads and stuff like that. And it's like all these different every decade of the TV and stuff. But I felt like kind of dirty watching it. Like, I'm so into this, and it's just so Disney can have more of my money. Like it just made me feel ooh. And I didn't come out with like the big, like grief hot takes that a lot of people had and like all of that stuff. Like I did not feel any of that. And
did you binge it, Amy, or did you watch it week by week?
I binged it up until the last episode, and then I ran out of time to finish the last episode. I think I put more into their relationship because I guess I assumed that in the other Avenger movies there was a lot more of their love story, so I just kind of bought into they were the thing. But then also knowing the whole time that I was watching it that it was about like her grief and everything, I wasn't watching The Real Housewives. It was something new, something different.
Yeah. And I think it's cool because, I mean, there is going to be like cool stuff heading forward. Like at the very end, you hear her kids like calling her name or something like that. So, I mean, like there's going to be more upcoming, now that she's the Scarlet Witch, there'll be more in the movies. And I think that they're, going to work it into there being her kids are characters that come out. So, I mean, I think that there's going to be more. I mean, it was good. I think I wanted a little bit more.
Is that going to all be on Disney Plus, or like there's going to be Marvel movies about that sort of thing?
There'll be more Marvel movies. I mean, yeah, they're about Falcon and Winter Soldier is coming out this month, end of this month, and so that'll tie in to the new movies. And there's a new Spider-Man movie already coming out.
See, I'll watch none of those. I will watch the Loki. I'll watch the Loki show.
The Loki show looks really, really good.
But I'm definitely going to cancel my Disney Plus membership until that comes back because I just did my budget and I am out of control when it comes to subscription services.
It's ridiculous. Disney just went up on their prices. I upped my Hulu back to live Hulu just so I could watch the Meghan Markle Oprah video interview. And now I've paid $62 for one interview, essentially, because I forgot to get rid of it. It's ridiculous. Let's talk about Meghan Markle. That's been weeks now, but it's still in the zeitgeist.
Just when I'm paying $95 a month for something called Fubo because it's the only streaming service that isn't cable that has the tennis channel. Like I had to get rid of my YouTube TV. Then I tried to have Hulu for cheaper, but then that doesn't have the tennis channel. So then I signed up for Fubo, like out of desperation. And then when the final bill hit my bank account, I was like, whoa.
Yeah.
The user
That's how-
interface is garbage.
Yeah.
It
That's how we
sounds
are
like
with
garbage.
soccer. Yeah. We're like that with soccer at our house because my husband will Mark will wake up super early on the weekends to be like with the kids, but it's because soccer plays at 6 a.m. on California time in England. And so he watches soccer until like 11 and I just stay in my room. My son brings me coffee. And so I will pay any amount of money for every streaming service that plays any amount of soccer. Or football or whatever he wants to call it. It's very
nice.
self-indulgent.
Yeah. It's worth it. It's worth
I
it.
don't blame you.
Let's talk about Meghan Markle. Anybody have like real thoughts?
I would recommend that anyone who is on the fence about how they feel about it, watch the last season of The Crown, episode 4 specifically. It is the one where Charles shows that he's just a complete and total piece of shit. And I think the main driver of all of this is Charles being garbage. Camilla is also kind of garbage. But then I get really mad when I think about how I thought that Charles was so sweet and kind when he walked Meghan down the aisle. And I feel like he's the one who's asking about the color of the baby. Like, I just feel like he's the true villain in all of this.
Yeah.
I think what pissed me off about it is I thought that Charles and now William are both assholes. Like,
Yes.
because Will's is our generation, grew up thinking he was hot, became an Anglophile just because we wanted, like, we had Teen Beat pictures of Will's on our wall, and he got ugly and he became Charles in his personality. Are you fucking kidding me? Like, it's just such a huge letdown. And I 100% believe that the "how dark is your baby" conversation is not one person asking that. That is a convo that Charles and William and maybe Kate and maybe Camilla had with Harry. 100% that was a family convo, and it's something they said more than once. There's no way that one person said it and Harry just shut it down and they never said anything about it again. It's like a thing they talked about. And it just everything about it. Like, how hard is it to learn from your mistakes? How hard would it have been to stand up and be like, Meghan didn't make Kate cry, or y'all aren't going to cover her like in this way? Like, how hard would it have been? And then at the same time, I feel conflicted because I stan the Queen still. I really like the Queen. So I'm glad that Harry's like, I still like her because that's how I feel. And he validated those feelings.
Not that The Crown is any sense of reality, but in the last season of The Crown, you really get, I feel like, a different personality of Queen Elizabeth, especially when she won't hug anybody, where she's just so perfunctory about familiar relationships. And it doesn't seem like the character that they had set up the previous seasons of the show. So I feel like we do in The Crown get more of what Elizabeth is probably like in real life. But if someone was asking, like, the episode that I'm talking about is when Diana wants to make Charles happy for his birthday and she dances to Uptown Girl. She does like her own choreography to something at the Savoy. And all he can talk about is how she's just humiliated him. And all she wants to do is make him happy. And she's willing to work on their relationship and their marriage. And then he just doubles down on spying on her and treating her like complete garbage until she cheats again on him with Harry's daddy, or, the presumed Harry's daddy, the redheaded guy. And I love watching all of it, especially because I have a French boyfriend who absolutely hates the English and he absolutely hates anything monarchy. And just watching his anger at the shit going down, he calls them roast beef. It brings me such joy. I mean, they're horrible people, but would I get up again at 3 a.m. like I did for both of their weddings to make brunch? And
yes.
Absolutely I will.
Yes.
Did you guys watch the Harry interview with James Corden before all of this?
No.
So he talks about The Crown. So James Corden asked him, like, what do you think about The Crown? And Harry says, like, it's fictionalized, but I'm going to paraphrase him. Basically, he says, like, it's pretty close to the truth, is what he says. He's like, it's fiction, but it's close. And
Yeah.
so it makes me think like it's Charles. 100% is Charles and Wills and the whole thing. Definitely.
Mhm.
I thought what was so funny about that episode that you're talking about, Amy, is that Diana seems like a rube.
Oh,
You know
for
what
sure.
I mean? Like how she's not good at the thing
She's
that
terrible.
she's doing. And it's
Yeah.
so funny to me because we have this idealized version of her being this glamorous person and
Yeah.
just this perfect angel. And really, she was just really young and naive and kind of bad at what she was doing. And the only thing she was good at is like being kind to people. And
Yeah.
that was the thing that brought down the monarchy, is the fact that this like dorky teenage girl was good at being nice.
Who was still taking ballet lessons at
Yes.
the age of like 25, and no one's told her like,
You're not good at this.
you'd probably be good at cross country.
Yeah. But when we went to Costco this Saturday, which is our once a week date, is when we go to Costco. We went to Costco and I wore bike shorts and a super oversized sweatshirt and crew socks and a pair of white tennis shoes. And I was like, I'm wearing my Diana outfit. Let's go. I was this close. I took the girls to H&M the other day. I was this close to buying a Harvard sweatshirt at H&M so I could really cosplay Diana, because I was like so into my bike shorts and my socks. I was like, let's do this. I got my Diana on.
Your Reeboks.
Yes. Yes.
I remember you used to remember, you guys were probably too young. There was this colored hair mousse called Pizzazz, and you could put like sparkle gel in your hair. And they had this thing, if you bought like 3 bottles of Pizzazz mousse, you could get like those thick socks that you wore above your Reeboks. And on the bottom it said Pizzazz. And yeah, I had some of those.
That's awesome. It sounds like something my cousins would have handed down to me, but I wouldn't have had access to on my own. Like all Guess jeans. I never had my own Guess jeans. I only had the ones that my cousins handed down to me. You know.
Oh.
B just asked if we listened to the You're Wrong About on Charles and Diana. I can't call them Chuck and Die. More power to you, B. But no, I have not. I listen to them sporadically. I don't listen to them religiously, so I have to.
Their episode on the first woman at the Citadel is riveting, because I remember
listen
living
to
through
that.
all of that when I was in South Carolina, and yeah, I love that podcast.
Oh my goodness.
But then sometimes it just makes me mad about the things that we're wrong about and how, like, what we believe, and I feel like I can only be mad so much, so sometimes I don't listen to that.
I do like being correct, though. So
Yes.
for someone to tell me that we're wrong about something, at the very least allows me to be like, okay, I can internalize that and then correct myself and feel
Yes.
good about it. Because I don't want to be up in arms about it. And I don't care if other people are wrong necessarily. I like being correct. So it works out, smooths out those references.
I guess what I mean is it feels like an impotent rage, because a lot of the things have long passed and there's nothing you can really do about it anymore. And a lot of it shows, especially about how we view and treat women, especially historically.
Yeah, right. Yeah, it's annoying.
Yeah.
So I will say I put up on my Instagram stories my coronation plate that I have of Queen Elizabeth II. And I said, I still stand. And this girl that I went to high school with, who was like anti-Meghan, hearted it. And I was like, hold up. I was like, me standing the Queen is not an endorsement of Kate and William, which is what she had been posting all last week. It is I have this coronation plate from 1953 that I must display in my new guest room. That's my only option. So, but it is not an endorsement of Kate and William. They are still on my shit list. I had to set her straight.
I have a Harry and Meghan Christmas ornament from their wedding on my tree.
If you had a Kate and Will's ornament, what would you do with it?
I'd still hang it. It just is what it is. It doesn't really. I live in America. We threw that tea in the bay. Like, we are good. I don't care that much.
Yeah,
Okay,
it feels like
Meghan
fantasy.
McCain.
No, you take that back right this second. Oh gosh, I got my Meghan McCain hair too today.
You do.
Oh no.
Remember Tommy from The Crown? I feel like when remember, who did he have to come into and give them the true talking to about? I think he came in and told Elizabeth basically why Edward and Wallace were complete garbage trash and Nazi sympathizers, and he like laid it down for them. I feel like what they need right now is a Tommy who can come in and just tell them to cut the shit.
Yeah. Where is Tommy Lascelles when you need him?
Right. Yeah. with his little choo-choo trains.
Did you guys see that on Instagram today? Wills and Kate were on there he spoke in, I think, Gaelic, and then she came in and tried to be cute. And the whole time I was just like this. Stop talking to me.
It's like just lay low for a while. Read the
They tried
readings.
so hard. Like they had for their British Mother's Day, like they had all these cards that George and Charlotte were making for Grammy Diana. And I was like, this is some bullshit. It's like, we know that Harry wrote that note to her that was on her coffin, not Will's. Get out of here.
But you guys should
Mommy.
you should watch the James Corden interview. I know it's James Corden and he's terrible and all of the things, but he takes Harry to the original Prince of Bel-Air mansion in Bel-Air because he's like, you're the prince and you should live in Bel-Air. And he takes them there and they knock on the door and they're talking to the owners. And Harry's just like, he's like holding himself. He's like, do you mind if I use your bathroom? And he goes in and uses their bathroom. It's hilarious. It's very funny. You should watch
Aww.
Royals are just like us.
it. Just
Now, here's this. How does that start? How does it start? My life got turned upside down. Oh! Now I'm showing like
This is a story all about how my life got
life got
turned
turned upside down.
And he does the whole song. I mean, I'm sure he practiced before, but Harry does the whole thing. It's very good. And then he freehands a rope, hand over hand, just like, pulls himself up. And I'm just like, my crush was renewed on.
Oh, yeah.
Harry could never.
I posted, go look at my Twitter. Go look at my Twitter right now. There's a video of Harry doing all that Marine shit. And then it's like, and then it just says William like trying to go on a ropes course, like with a helmet and like totally struggling too. It is great.
Yes, Vicky wrote what I wanted it to be in West Philadelphia.
Born and raised. All right.
On the
Okay.
playgrounds where I spent most of my days. Ooh, speaking of rap music, let's talk about how Tucker Carlson and Candace Owens are losing their mind over some Dasani Punani.
I don't even want to discuss Candace Owens because I feel like she scours the internet for her name and then wants to sue people. But you've got to be kidding me. She has a talk show coming out this week entitled Candace.
Yeah.
And she is using her outrage at Cardi B to drum up publicity for this ratchet talk show that no one's going to care about. And I just hate all of her performative conservative. I can't remember words. I hate it. And it's
She
disgusting.
is not a certified freak 7 days a week.
No.
You have not lived until you see this 47-year-old white woman running down the streets of Newport with her headphones on singing. I want to King Cobra.
I have not lived. It's just ridiculous. The whole thing is ridiculous. Madonna was doing this stuff in the 80s. You know, they've been doing Britney was doing it in the 2000s. There has always been white women doing this exact same stuff at the Grammys and the MTV Music Awards and everywhere else. And there hasn't been conservative outrage to this, level, or maybe it's just because there wasn't social media. Whatever the point is, it's not destroying America. It's not dismantling literally what she said was the empire of America or whatever. That's not happening. Cardi B writes music for adults. If you're letting your 11-year-old listen to WAP, that's your problem. And I don't want to say WAP. I want to say WAP.
I think they go wop, wop, wop in the
But
song.
WAP is the Southern way to say it. I actually really had to work.
Because it's
to say
wet
WAP.
ass.
Yeah. Wet ass pussy. Anyway, so I just, it's performative. It's ridiculous. Cardi B is obviously not somebody who needs to fight with Candace Owens on Twitter in order to garner any kind of interest. But Candace Owens is the kind of person who needs to fight with Cardi B on Twitter to garner any kind of interest. And that's exactly what she did. And I kind of wish Cardi hadn't fell for it. But at the same time.
Oh, did she respond? I didn't.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, it's been major back and forth.
Yeah.
Now it's that Candace is going to sue her because Cardi put up a Photoshopped tweet that said that of Candace's, it wasn't Candace's tweet, but it says that her brother had sex with her husband. And there's a huge controversy online about which fandom actually photoshopped that tweet, and a lot of people think it was the Harry Styles fandom.
But the Harry Styles fandom thinks it's the One Direction fandom trying to hurt the Harry Styles fandom. It's very circular. Very good.
Right.
I love the internet.
All I know is that somebody did a face swap of Ben Shapiro in that video, and now I just can't have. There's not enough brain bleach.
No.
Everyone wants to hear about your porch, your neighbor's porch.
Okay, well, listen, I'll post it to my Twitter in 2 seconds, but I need to go get another one of these bad, terrible beers. I'll be right back.
Okay, do it. Do it. So I wanted to talk about Alan versus Pharaoh. Did you watch this documentary?
I haven't watched it. No, I keep meaning to, but I keep falling asleep because daylight savings is evil.
It's only 4 episodes. I was watching it every Sunday as it came out. And like, I'm the kind of person who, I mean, if you have any feelings about movies or like about Woody Allen and the people who like work with him and defend him, then you should watch this documentary. It's very well done. And even though like Allen refused to be a part of it, like he's fully represented in like press conference material from the 90s and like his 2020 book about the thing. Like it's his voice, like his audio book or whatever. But like I went into it like having read Dylan's op-eds. I'm very aware of Ronan Farrow's everything. So I've been like apprised of the whole situation from his perspective. And like in high school, you know, I took a picture of Mia Farrow from Rosemary's Baby to my stylist and was like, I want to be this woman. Like, make me this woman. But like I had no.
And you could live at the Dakota apartment building in New York City with that like pixie cut. Dreams.
Oh yes. That pixie cut is excellent. I almost cut it all off today and just went straight there. But anyway, I had no idea that all the details of what this actually was, how obvious it was, how soon after the alleged molestation and sexual abuse that it was, you know, on video, her talking about it, how different ways that Dylan was consistent. No clue. I mean, and I would assume that like Julia Roberts and Kristen Stewart and Kate Winslet and Emma Stone and, you know, everybody else that has worked with him since all of that, like also didn't know those details. But like there has to need to come out now and apologize for working with him. Like pull a Chalamet and be like, this was a bad idea. It's not going to ruin your career if you're Julia Roberts or Kate Winslet to be like, this guy's disgusting. And I'm sorry that I perpetuated his influence by being in his movies.
And they perpetuated it by most of his movies that aren't, you know, Midnight in Paris or Match Point. Every other movie is about him being a lecherous old dude who seems to be able to land gorgeous young women who are completely out of his league.
Right. And they talk about that in the doc, like how Manhattan is like disgusting in terms of what he says about young women and all of that kind of stuff. And like, they're all like that. And yet, you know, it's like 2014, 2015, and Diane Keaton's giving him this like Lifetime Achievement Award or some shit. Mm-hmm. And it's horrible. Like in the 90s, like the day it happened, Dylan was 7 and saying exactly what happened. And she never deviated from what she said that day. And it's on video the very next day. Like, it's just, it happened. And it's just, I didn't realize all the like, I thought that it was one of those things that like when she wrote her op-ed later, it's something that had come out when she was an adult. I did not realize that it was in conjunction with everything that happened in the 90s. It's bonkers. It's so good. You need to watch it.
I didn't watch the documentary. I started to read, I got like halfway through. Soon Yi did an interview with, I think it was Vanity Fair.
Yeah.
And then I'm just like, of course, Vanity Fair is giving them a platform. But just hearing about their relationship as it is now, they kind of live as daughter, father. They don't share a room together. They're not really intimate anymore. You know, she gets, you know, all the Chanel that she wants, but she complains because she can't really go out and use it because no one wants to be around him. And I'm just like, just leave him.
Yeah.
Do they have children? I can't remember. They do, right?
Yeah, they have like 2 kids.
Yeah, I thought.
But like, how is she going to leave him when he was grooming her from like 16, 17 years old? And that's all she's known. And he's super powerful and a ton of money. And I'm sure like whatever prenup they had to sign probably gives her nothing.
Right.
Yeah.
She didn't have a parental figure to protect her when she was getting married to him. She just had him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So she's probably not protected at all as
Yeah.
even as a 40-year-old woman or 45-year-old woman or whatever.
And she greatly blames Mia for kind of pushing her into the arms of Woody by saying that Mia was just like a total stone cold bitch to her and just kind of used her as a photo op. The whole thing is incredibly sad.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Yeah.
Jeez.
I mean, I think that Mia Farrow has trauma too. I mean, she
Mhm.
had fucking polio and she was married to Frank Sinatra at a super young age. So I'm sure she's got trauma and she made some bad choices.
Speaking
like-
of other people's daddies, you know,
Right.
we've got Leighton Hewitt. What's his name? Leighton Hewitt's a tennis player.
Ronan Farrow.
Harry's fake daddy is what's his name?
Oh, I can't remember his name.
Something Hewitt, I think. And then
Yeah.
everyone says that Frank Sinatra is
Have you heard
Dylan.
Ronan Farrow sing?
running. No.
Have you heard? He's Frank Sinatra's son. He is
100%.
Frank Sinatra's son. So good. But like, I think that she probably, you know, there's probably some psychological reasons why she felt the need to adopt so many children and create this
Mhm.
new family for her or whatever. But there is no doubt in my mind that she was doing like creating this loving, open, adorable space for these children to like kind of run wild and be free. Like that's what her
Yeah.
little Connecticut home is. It's like freaking Bridge to Terabithia, like cute. You know what I mean? Like it's just adorable. And this like little country home that she's been in for 4 decades. And I mean, how can you be like, oh, she was abusing us? Like,
Don't you have a Bridge to Terabithia tattoo? What's your tattoo from?
no. It's Narnia.
Oh, okay. That stuff all melds to me.
Yeah. Everything you read in the 3rd grade is the same.
Do you know what I read the other night? Oh, I love it. I needed like a little palate cleanser. You ever just have that moment where you have so many books to read, none of them are just like scratching the itch that you want? And I think
Yeah.
I think I just finished WandaVision, so it was like 2 nights ago, and I was like, oh no, I want to read. So I picked up Ruby's copy of Judy Blume, starring Sally J. Friedman as herself, which I just
Aw.
loved. It put me to like the happy place.
Yeah.
That was
sweet.
the book where I learned what the word bordello meant. Because when they go down to Florida, she thinks the bathroom looks like a bordello. And I remember having to ask my mother, and she just handed me our big copy of the Webster's Dictionary to look it up.
Isn't it fun how you can totally remember certain words? Like I remember bastard. I learned that from Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves. And the only reason I
Mhm.
knew it was like a word is because I was quoting the friar at some point. He was like, these poor bastards that are about to stretch. And I was just saying the words to the movie because we watched it over and over again for some
The
reason.
Kevin Costner one?
Yes.
Okay.
And my mom was like, don't say that word. And I was like, why not? The friar's saying it, you know, like that kind of thing. And she was like, it's a bad word.
That's how I learned the word horny. It was 3rd grade. My friend Erin Blockstock and I were walking home, and she said her older teenage brother was really horny, and I was like horny? Like, what does that mean? And she explained like that.
That's
means
the
he really likes
shocker.
girls.
That's horny.
It means he really likes girls. I was like, oh, okay. Like, I guess everyone's a little horny. I don't know.
Which is true. That's gonna be my next cross stitch. Everyone's a little horny.
Yeah.
But then did you use it like in front of an adult, like your mom or dad, and they were just
No,
like,
I remember knowing it wasn't like an okay thing. Like she said it to me like, hey, like I'm cool and I know this word
Mm.
and I have an older teenage brother and I'm going to share this with you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Robin Hood, one day when I make Frenchie marry me, if he's listening to this, the song that we're going to dance to is 100% going to be Bryan Adams. Everything I do, I do it for you. That is definitely my love jam for all
Oh.
time.
That is a great love jam.
Oh,
Good one.
so
I mean,
good.
I remember slow dancing to that in middle school for sure.
You would die for me. You would lie for me.
Ugh. Also, my love affair with Christian Slater was cemented with some Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves. I mean, he was all over my bedroom wall at that point. I mean,
For me, it was
very
Bed
intense.
of Roses. Bed of Roses for me with Christian Slater. Do you remember that movie?
Yes.
Mhm.
I'll show you how to take me. Go down. That movie. Yes. I
That's a
remember
great
it.
song. That song is in Dairy Girls, which we should have talked about since it's Fantastic Day.
It is. I actually just
Oh.
was before we came on tonight. I was watching the episode where the Protestants are having their Orange Man parade and they're getting out of town, and the guy stows away in the boot.
Yes.
Because you guys reminded me of my first article I ever wrote for the Cool Table, how I'm hungry for the Da in Dairy Girls. And I need a little Jerry from Derry.
We're Mary and Jerry, and we're living in Derry. I love him. His name is Tommy Tiernan. He's a comedian.
Mm.
And I think he got in trouble for saying some bad stuff on stage once. He had a little scandal. I don't
Well, what
really
was the bad stuff?
I don't know. I don't know the details.
It can't be worse than that Chris Harrison interview that Heidi made me watch from The Bachelor. I had no idea what a complete piece of shit he was. I kind of just was like, And then I watched it and I was like, this guy's saying that basically if you were racist in 2018, it was cool because it was just so long ago.
Oh my God.
If you're a pretty girl that's probably going to win the season, then like it was 2018. Are you using the 2021 lens or the 2020 or the 2018 lens?
Yeah.
It's bad all of them.
The only thing different between 2018 and 2021 is that now all Democrats want a $15 minimum wage instead of 12. That's
Right.
it. Everything else is the same.
And this scandal was that this girl was at an antebellum party for a frat party. Like she dressed up in old antebellum dresses and they went to a plantation and took pictures. It wasn't even allowed, like it was disallowed within the plantation rules, like in 2016. So one, it was against the rules of the like, so I don't know the whole history, but the fraternity is called like the KKK, which is where apparently the KKK originated. So like,
was it Kappa Kappa Gamma?
Yeah, maybe. I don't
Yeah.
know. I don't know Greek life stuff, and so she like went in 2018 to a disallowed antebellum party wearing antebellum clothes, and then went on the Bachelor of the first Black Bachelor in 25 seasons and wins. And then all this comes out. And he finds out he's
yes, Crystal.
Okay. So they didn't get engaged because, he doesn't have the ability to commit. Thank God. And,
that's the problem.
Yeah. And then all this comes out and he realizes like, what have I done? She's from Forsyth County, Georgia. It's like the most like notoriously well-known to be the most racist.
That's George Green, right?
Yes.
From Forsyth, Georgia. So anyway, all this comes out. He's with this poor woman and he gets to be blackballed. She cries. And he says in the final interview, he's like, I can't be responsible for your tears because it's white tears. I can't be responsible for your tears. And so I have my meme account. The comments, I had to turn off comments on everything and just be like, you guys are being racist. I'm turning off comments because the people who are feeling all of this pain and compassion for this white girl who was racist as hell and got up with the first Black Bachelor. It's just this season, you guys, this season.
Goodness gracious.
It's real bad. So the whole season, 11 episodes, 2 hours every single Monday night, hours of work. And there's no relationship at the end. It's just a bunch of racist bullshit at the end of all of it. This is my life's work.
Heidi, do we need a safe word for you?
Yeah. Blink twice if the Bachelor is hurting you.
The Bachelor is hurting me.
I hate this Rachel because she's Rachel with two A's. Like, what?
Rachael.
Rachel. Yeah. There's a Candace on Real Housewives of Potomac, and she's got an I in there, so it's like candy ass. Oh, I hate when people just add random letters.
Rachel.
She has answered it as well as she can. I mean, like, for being like the problem person, like she's apologized. She's not victimizing herself, any of those things. She's not centering herself. She's trying her best. But the public, like her numbers have exploded on social. Like everyone's like, oh, you canceled her. She is not canceled. She's doing better than anyone ever of all time. She is fine. Everyone feels bad for her. It's disgusting.
Did we see her on TV last night? Yeah, that's what she's not.
Oh, yeah.
And she's not entitled to this relationship. Like, it's not canceling if you get broken up with.
No. And they said at the very end, they said, like, would you like to give her one final embrace? And Matt James was like, no, like, I'm good. And everyone's like, you couldn't hug her one last time. Why would he hug her? Ugh, it's so annoying. But yeah.
That is awful.
Yeah.
We have lots of Rachels in the comments right now, and none of them have the extra A. So mad props to your parents. Thank you.
The Bible correctly.
Well, something similar, racism is happening in Real Housewives of Dallas right now because one of the lead characters, Brandy, she's a former Dallas Cowboys cheerleader. someone found a video of her in her car doing like this and making, ching chong noises and talking about how she has Asian eyes. And then, she got a lot of flack for it. So then she went to what she called rehab, which was probably just going to a spa. I don't know how, like, if there's rehab for being a racist idiot. But now on the show, there is a woman, Tiffany Moon. She's an anesthesiologist. She's adorable. She's sweet and kind. She has given Brandy so much grace by saying, like, you did something dumb. I don't think that you're racist. And now Brandy keeps coming at her every episode saying, like, I feel like you and I have a problem because I just can't be myself around you. And it's basically like, you mean you just want to be your regular racist self. That's your problem, not mine. And now, in light of what's happening in this country with violence against Asian people, what happened in Atlanta last night, I was just like, Brandy is the kind of person who needs to be canceled. Like, she's not entitled to be on my TV screen anymore. You act like a piece of shit. You deserve to lose your place on TV. It's not anybody else. Like, so Tiffany is what's the Bachelor's name? Is it
Matt James?
Matt, yeah. So it's like they're having to deal with white women tears and feeling responsible for doing the work for other people, and it's just.
It's like the Osborne. What's her name? What's the wife's
Sharon.
name?
Sharon.
Right.
Oh, that was terrible. That was horrifying.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're like,
I just saw the reactions to that. Like, I didn't
white
see the
people
video.
are really showing their asses. And it's like, I want to watch reality TV to watch drunk people act stupid in pretty clothes. And then, like, you guys got to let this.
It's like the fact that The Real World is coming back.
Yeah.
And they're doing their original cast or whatever. And I was like, wait a minute. I hated Julie on the first Real World. I cannot watch 30 years later, Julie still being a racist Southern.
But she's like, it's not all about racism.
Yeah. Will you stop it with the black and white thing? I'm sick of it. No, Julie, that you're an idiot. Like, you need to learn this. And like the fact that it was so long ago, and like even my Southern ass, like, I got it when I was 13 watching The Real World, and the fact that Julie's in her goddamn 50s and hasn't figured it out yet. Like, I just was like, I cannot watch this reunion.
Right.
What in the world? Why?
So when like Chris Harrison is like, well, that was the 2018 lens. We were already 2 years into the Trump presidency in 2018. I have tissues, snot rags under my bed that are older than 2018.
For real.
To act like that was a long, long time ago. And no, you knew better.
Yeah, and that's the hard part is like, yes, reality TV is supposed to be fun and escapism and all of those things, but like they've done good work. That they had Emmanuel Acho from like the Uncomfortable Conversations with Black Man. Have you guys seen that guy? Yeah. So he was the host of the after the final rose ceremony, which is like the live after show of the whole season, instead of Chris Harrison, because Chris Harrison got canceled, even though Chris Harrison like was on every single episode and did all the voiceovers and blah blah blah. He was not canceled. He's getting every penny. So Emmanuel Acho came on and did the whole interview, and he did great. And so good conversations are happening. But the thing is that no one's going to listen. They're all saying they're going to cancel it. So I don't know. I don't know. It's all gross.
Well, Alicia wants us to talk about Amy's Neighbor.
Yes.
Okay, Alicia, I posted it to my Twitter. Let me see if I can figure out a way to stick it on the screen. But
so the background is Amy's neighbor has been making horrible decor decisions.
So my neighbor, we're here in Newport, Rhode Island, and they've decided to put on a porch in which the balusters are actually just old doors. Nothing is level. Everything is painted bright red. They have added a lot of black and white accents, including wooden pineapples that are hanging down, almost kind of like, what do you call it? Curios. And then now they've put up these railings that look like something you would see out of Hogwarts. Let me see if I can do this one.
I can see if I can make you bigger. Hold on.
Is that working?
Go to the other direction. Go down.
Let me turn this off.
Your little ring light. You can kind of see it.
Yeah.
Not really. Yeah.
But I posted it onto my Twitter, bless Amy's heart. So it gets worse. It's like every week he decides to add something new. And the other day he was outside power washing something, and I was really hoping he would notice me stopping to stare, and I was hoping he would ask me what I thought about it. So
What
I
would you have
could just-
said?
But
I was thinking like a Tim Gunn kind of thing, like it's a lot of luck, you know. But I mean, he loves it, which is fine, but like we have to look at it. But properties are flying off the shelf here in Newport. All of the New Yorkers are coming to Newport when they realize they can all work from home now. And so the housing prices are through the roof. Things are getting snapped up within 20 minutes of being listed to MLS. So he's not affecting anybody's property value.
So Vicky just asked if pineapples are a Southern thing. What's he doing with them in Rhode Island? I thought that maybe perhaps
they're
he was
very
a
New
swinger.
England. Oh,
You
is
know that
what people
thing
put out?
where you
The
put
pineapple.
if you put a pineapple in the top of your grocery cart, it means that you're into swinging, and somebody else in the grocery store can hit you up. Has anybody else heard of this?
I've heard of it, but I wasn't sure it was a real thing.
I mean,
So they're huge here in New England. It's, the welcome sign. I know they're big in Charleston. They're also big here in Newport, but also I think they're very big in slave trading towns. They actually have quite bad history of the implication of why it means welcome. So I'm kind of don't put up pineapples anymore, but that could probably be an episode of You Were Wrong About, like pineapples.
right.
And the welcome sign. But
I think everybody's saying what about the pineapple and the thing. And Shelly said, my mom heard about that in Sunday school.
it's like an evangelical urban legend.
Maybe they're like, don't put your pineapples in the seat. You go put that down in the cart. Oh my
Remember
God.
how they used to, there was always that myth that you could, if you ate a lot of pineapple,
Well, yeah,
pussy
that's
good, pussy sweet, pussy
that's
good
what-
enough to eat.
That's right. That's what watermelon sugar is about. Eat your watermelon and your pineapple so that Harry Styles will be into it. That's what you need to learn from that album.
There's lots of people that know how to find swingers in there.
I don't know at all. So Shallon just said in my area, I've heard that hanging those metal stars on your front door is a sign of swingers, though I think someone may have started that rumor to mock the yuppies. I don't know what the metal stars are, but in my mind, that's like a Texas thing.
The barn stars.
Okay, yeah, like a
barn
Texas
stars.
looking thing.
Mhm.
Yeah, I can't imagine anybody in Toronto hanging the metal stars up. Like,
Well, I feel
thought
like
y'all
that
would have better.
fixer upper culture has hit.
Oh, right.
The worst
That's what
part
it
was
is.
when I was home in South Carolina in my parents' neighborhood of 1973 ranches and seeing the fixer upper bits that people have tried to do to update their ranches. Lots of exposed wood, lots of vertical. Oh, just
Yeah.
sad.
So Crystal just said we're fucked in Texas. Well, yeah. I mean, if you literally, so y'all are all fucking each other, apparently.
I think
So
in
John
Texas,
said
when
it's
you hang up the
suburban.
barn star, it means that you're wide open for Beto. So it's like, come on over, Beto.
Beto, what?
That man there is something about competency that is very sexy to me.
Beto reminds me of Obama in that the way he speaks is so efficient and competent that he's
Mhm.
very sexy.
Yeah.
I find Obama very sexy just by sheer competency. And I'm very drunk right now. So
And
just
you
take
have
it all with a grain of salt.
The rolled up sleeves too. That's what it.
Yeah.
Like that. Just,
Oh yeah.
like, I'm going to get forearms,
Yes.
Like Beth has her coronation plate. I have my 2008 inauguration plate.
Do you?
Yes.
Nice.
The thing is, so Ruby's dad gave me a Christmas present, and he gave me the Obama book, which I thought was so sweet and kind.
Sure.
And I am, real talk, never going to read it.
I have it too, and I haven't read it yet.
So in 2008, we've been married 2 years. We were very young and very broke. And Mark was working for Pelosi, and we got tickets to go to the inauguration. And we didn't buy tickets because we didn't think we could afford the plane tickets. We didn't go to Obama's inauguration. Go into debt past Heidi. That is so stupid. Ugh.
I think about all the trips we didn't take when we were young before we had kids because we were like, we don't have the money for that. Like, I went to New York with other people, but Brian didn't go because we couldn't afford both of us to go. I hate being poor.
We gave the tickets to his parents. They went, and I stayed home. It's terrible.
That pisses me off that they didn't say to you, no, you need to go.
Yeah, we'll pay for your plane ticket.
Yeah.
That's bullshit.
Are these the ones who live in Virginia? So they just drove up? Yeah.
Yeah, not even like in Arlington. They just took the metro across. It's right there.
Yeah.
Oh, my head is itchy from being bleached today. I'm so drunk. But
Ruby was like 3 weeks old at the inauguration, and I was just remember watching all day nursing her. And memories.
Good ones.
And my stepson, Ruby's brother, gave me the Obama plate, I think for my birthday that year.
Aww.
It's something he totally bought out of a Parade magazine, and I love it. And it's still in my guest room.
Love that.
I got my Queen Elizabeth coronation plate at an antique warehouse here in Memphis. But I think if I went and tried to find an Obama inauguration plate, they wouldn't have it because I don't think that Black people in Memphis, if they had an inauguration plate, would ever give it up. You know what I mean? Surely there's plenty of, because when you go into an antique warehouse in Memphis and you look through the records, it's like white bullshit. There's nothing good in there. It really sucks. So I can find
stuff. Dolly Parton, Elvis.
No, if it was Dolly Parton, it'd be great. If I found Dolly Parton or Elvis, I'd be excited about it. But it's like Burt Bacharach. You know what I mean? It's like really shitty. So like the Black people don't give up their good shit. You know, they're not going to like give up a Marvin Gaye, Al Green album to the antique warehouse or to Goodwill. Whereas the white people are like, I don't need this Queen Elizabeth coronation shit that my mom bought. I'm giving it to the antique warehouse. And then I win. But I'll never be able to get an Obama plate. You know what I mean? Because the Black people in Memphis are too smart.
A very good basic white woman.
You need to just go on eBay. I think you could probably find one. Bradford Exchange.
I like finding things in shops.
I do too. I love going to St. Vincent de Paul and the little thrift store that they have and the things that you can find in there.
Like I have a first edition Diary of Anne Frank hardback.
Oh,
you know what I mean? Yeah, like first edition English that I found in a shop. You know what I mean? Like I didn't buy it on eBay.
Were you like shaking when you checked out? Like, please don't look at it. Please don't look at it.
I was crying. Crying.
Oh. It reminds me of there's this sweet lady that I played tennis with. Her name is Kay. And Antiques Roadshow came to town, and I saw her. We were playing tennis, and she was like, "Oh, I got an appointment to go to Antiques Roadshow." And she said, "I have this little book. It's called, it's from a poet, Walt Whitman. And it's Leaves of Grass, and it's signed by Walt Whitman." And I was just like, "Okay." She's like, "I inherited it from so-and-so and so-and-so."
Oh my god.
That is lovely.
And I was like, you need to have that in a safe deposit box.
Yeah.
And, you know, she went to Antiques Roadshow. They immediately were just like, what the fuck? And she was on the PBS show. It was worth like $50,000.
Of course.
But she just didn't even know what she had. And
I think that's usually how it happens, right? People have no idea.
But I remember her being like, have you ever heard of this poet, Walt Whitman? I'm like, yeah.
Yeah. I went to high school in America. I know who Walt Whitman is.
So Emerson, obviously my oldest daughter, she was like,
"Hey, is named after Ralph Waldo."
I mean, like loosely, but yes.
My Emerson is, yes.
Yeah. And so she's in her third grade or fourth grade class right now. And they're learning about John Muir's California, like fourth grade history, their state history. And they're talking about, she was like, "Hey mom, you ever heard of anyone called like Emerson and Thoreau?" I was like, "Emerson, you're literally named after that guy. Have we not discussed this thing?" She's like, "Can we read some of that later?" I was like, "Yeah, maybe." We haven't yet. It's been a couple days. So I'm a very good mom.
I love that.
Yeah, I have a good edition of Emerson on my mantle for Emerson to like peruse at her pleasure whenever she wants to read her namesake, and she never has picked it up.
I
But
love that.
I do love that we both have Emersons.
Me too.
Emerson.
Emerson.
Speaking of well, Emily, speaking of poets, has anyone watched Dickinson?
No, I have not watched Dickinson, and I should because I love Emily Dickinson.
It's
should totally be into it.
very good. It is out there weird, kind of mystical, because she kind of, imagines her poems kind of coming to life, like her taking carriage rides with death. But it does my favorite thing that the one time Outlander did it. I loved it. It's like anachronistic music, rock music,
Oh, yeah, I
pop
love that too.
music set in people with corsets. That's all I need.
Mhm.
Yeah,
And
I
if
love
you
that too.
have Apple TV with your Ted Lasso, you can watch Dickinson.
Is that where it's on?
Yeah.
I have all the Apple TV screeners for free.
Do you have the morning show yet? They're still filming that
I'm not
one, right?
watching that. Isn't
Oh my
Reese
God,
in that?
fuck you, Reese.
Why do we talk
good.
about Reese every happy hour? Every
She's
happy
in
hour.
everything.
I'm perfectly fine. And then we're like, let's talk about Beth's nemesis for a couple of hours.
It wasn't even on purpose. It wasn't even on purpose.
Meredith says that she's related to Emily Dickinson and she has a chair from her house.
Wow.
Well, somebody asked me to prove that I have a first edition Anne Frank, so prove it. Picture it didn't happen. I'll put my
Hope
first
is the
edition
thing
Anne
with
Frank
feathers that perches
Twitter.
on the soul and sings the tune without the words and never stops at all.
Oh, hope is a thing with feathers.
I read that at my nephew's funeral.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, but it's like it fit. It was
that's nice.
It was how I ended it, because I've only memorized one poem in my entire life, and it is "Hope is the thing with feathers," and it just reminded me of him so much.
Yeah, that's
I love you,
lovely.
Granty.
Aw. So let's talk about what we've been reading lately. I was going to write a post about this, and then I decided to just talk about it tonight drunk.
Okay.
So anything you guys have been reading lately?
I have been reading Welcome to Night Vale, Welcome to Night Vale was a podcast, and this is the scripts for all of them. And the reason I picked it up, Ruby was at Barnes & Noble spending all my money on manga, and I saw it, and something about the cover reminded me of, oh my gosh, no, I'm totally blanking. One of my favorite books of all time, and now I feel like a complete asshole. I'll think of it in a minute. But then also because I was watching WandaVision and kind of like the weird mystical things that can happen in, crazy suburbia, I love it. It's wild and weird, and each episode is a chapter, and it's a really quick read. But then also, I always double dip, so I'm reading that, and The Year of Strange New Things. That's the book I'm talking about that it reminds me of. And I'm doing Pen Palooza. I don't know if anybody knows about that on Twitter. I have 5 pen pals, and then I signed up to get a Christmas present via Pen Palooza. And the girl who picked me sent me the autobiography of Clarissa. She's the a reporter for 60 Minutes. But she's been working heavily in Syria. I'm looking up her name right now. Clarissa Ward. It's her autobiography, and it is fascinating because she's on the ground. She's gone from Lebanon to the Gaza Strip to Baghdad, and she has a lot of sex along the way, and she's unapologetic about it, and it is really riveting, but also very, very telling about how things are completely fucked up in Syria.
Yeah. Nice. I need to read more autobiographies.
I love a good memoir. I love that stuff.
Yeah. B just said she finished Shipped today and is now dying to go to the Galapagos. And Amber Ruffin's book, all about the racist stuff that happens to her sister, which is both hilarious and a great thing to hand. I love Amber Ruffin's new show. I watched the little clips. Alicia just finished her reread of Shadow and Bone, which if you don't know, we're doing Grisha Book Club. We're meeting in 2 weeks to talk about the first book, Shadow and Bone. She still hates Mal. She will be bringing that hate to the Grisha Book Club. Very, very fun. What have you been reading, Heidi?
I just finished last night because I'm not sleeping anymore because of daylight savings. I just finished The Midnight Library by Matt Haig. Do you guys
Oh,
read
yeah.
that one?
Yeah.
I liked it. It was good. It was like, it's about, the life you have versus the lives that you could have if you had made different decisions and which one is the best fit for you. And
Yeah.
it was fast and fine.
I don't like to think about that kind of stuff. I don't like to think about the life I could have had. It makes me super depressed.
So the reason I read it is
sliding
because
doors.
It's very sliding doors. The reason I read it is because I've read a lot of smut recently, and I needed something higher on my reading challenge on Goodreads to like.
You did not need
I
anything higher.
I needed it, and so that's why I read it. So it's there. And now next up is I'm rereading Anthony Bridgerton's book for Bridgerton Book Club.
Well, no, we have to read. The next one is Benedict's book.
That's what I meant. I meant Benedict. Benedict. Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you know why I was like picked up the Judy Blume book? Is because I was in such a mood the other night. I really wanted something that was either just like Outlander or just like The Bronze Horseman. And I didn't have anything like that on my shelf. And I didn't know what there was.
Because that doesn't exist.
I just wanted like angst and a love story, but not like a Regency. I had an itch and I couldn't
It doesn't
find
exist. Several years ago, I guess like maybe 5 or 6 years ago, we went on a search for Shura, which was it was a search for a historical romance novel that was not a Regency romance, not your regular mass market paperback, but a new Bronze Horseman type book. And we did not find it.
You guys made me read. Yeah, you made me read some like medieval, like
I know.
It was terrible.
It was so horrible. I'm sitting here reading.
What was it, Heidi?
It was something very popular, Roses or something. It was medieval. I don't know. It was bad.
It was bad. I was reading The Tea Rose and The Wild Rose by Jennifer Donnelly.
I hate those books.
We were reading so much stuff to try to find historical romance that was even remotely like The Bronze Horseman / Outlander, and it just doesn't exist. If anybody has really good historical fiction that is hot and angsty and adventurous all in one and also isn't stupid, like if you tell me to read Into the Wild or whatever that woman who wrote the stuff where they meet Jamie Fraser, I will murder you. Please send it our way.
That one was good.
I will not read that.
Was good. The rest of them, no.
Well, Rachel just said the Cool Table is going to have to write this book themselves. I'm on it. I'm on it, guys. Okay, I'm working.
But I also don't. I need it to be not. It can't be current times. So nothing. Like she said. No.
Yes.
Oh, she says write it like Christina Lauren. Yeah. If you can't find what you want, write it yourself. Absolutely.
We can all write it together. Yes, but I am working on that. But anywho, it doesn't exist, so we have to work.
Amy,
on that,
you were part of this. I'm looking at the old post. You were part of this. You were supposed to read Poldark, and instead you read Dead Wake. Do you remember this?
Yes, because that was a true story about World War I.
Okay, wait. I'm gonna read you what you said. It says, confession. Instead of reading Poldark, I read Dead Wake, which is nonfiction about the sinking of the Lusitania. And the only person with boning in that book was German U-boat captain Walter Schwager. But he's evil and that's wrong. And it goes on and on.
Well, is Poldark like that? Will Poldark scratch that itch? I'll go and read that.
We'll know because you didn't read it when we were searching for Shura back in 2015.
What was the name of the book that you read, Heidi?
I read Rosalind.
That sounds terrible.
It says, oh gosh, I don't even want to read myself. It makes me want to die. Just like Outlander and The Bronze Horseman, Rosalind is the first in a series of historical romances set during the Crusades at the end of the 12th century. Rosalind is a love story of 16-year-old Lady Eleanor Devois and a healthy heiress, a 46-year-old Simon, a wealthy heiress. I'm had a lot of whiskey now. I'm not making any sense.
She was 16?
She was 16 and he was an old dude. Yeah.
Oh, I'm all right with the May December in my fiction.
I don't know.
What did I read? I read The Tea Rose.
May December is the jail time you get for that one. 16.
I
know. Lindsay, Susan. Just a second. Thank you, Lindsay and Susan, for your contributions.
Mm-hmm.
where are you? Oh, you got a T Rose.
The T Rose, yeah.
Yeah.
Not good.
Says too many points of view, too many directions.
That sounds
That's all.
like,
Yeah.
well, yeah, that sounds right. So what I've been reading lately is Katie Robert. Wait, what?
You said I will forever wish it was at least one of them was. I will forever wish at least one of them were M/M.
Oh, maybe that's what I need. It's just like a
If
good
nothing is not
dirty-
predictable. Nothing is not predictable. Okay, so I will say though, if you really want to scratch that itch, you need to read all 3 Captive Prince novels. I
Mhm.
mean,
I
just
read the first one.
You stopped after one?
how could you possibly just read the first Captive Prince novel and not keep going?
I think I got divorced. Get off my jock.
Okay,
I'm
all right, all
going
right.
through some things.
Yeah.
Pick them back
Fair.
up because they're very engrossing. So, all right,
Well, wait, isn't that fantasy?
it's fantasy, yes.
Kinda. I mean, kinda.
It is Slave King fantasy, yes. But I mean, set in a very realistic world. There's no dragons or anything like that.
I love World War II kink. Why can't that I think that's part of why I loved Shura so much is that it was just the siege of Leningrad and
Emma just asked if anybody watched Gentleman Jack. Yes, we loved Gentleman Jack. My husband and I, we loved it. Can't wait for the next season if they have a next season. So I've been reading Katie Robert, Katee Robert. She's a ton of smut, ton of like Kindle Unlimited stuff, but she has this one series called A Touch of Taboo, I think, and it's just the smuttiest smut. The first one is called Your Dad Will Do, and the girl goes and has sex with her ex-fiance's dad after she gets dumped. The second one is called Your Dad Will Do is the best title.
It sounds like the Flintstones, like your dad will do ya.
It sounds like something you find on Literatica under the incest section.
100% Literatica is not good. The second one is called Gifting Me to his best friend, which isn't a husband, gives his wife away to the best friend. And then the third one is Dad's Best Friend, which is not as good. So they have so many typos. They have daddy baby girl kinks in them, which I hate because I actually do call my dad daddy sometimes, and he calls me baby girl. That's my name. So when someone has daddy baby girl kink in their story, I'm like, no. But still, I have read these like 4 times.
Is this part of like the 99-cent bin on Amazon?
Probably. I can't even remember if they're free Kindle Unlimited or if I paid $4 for them. But anyway, if you're into just some ridiculous, you just want smut, Katie Roberts, start with Your Dad Will Do. Your Dad Will Do is the best one of the bunch.
Your Dad Will Do. You're right. It's either A Little Dab Will Do Ya, which is Brill Cream, which Heidi, you're too young to know what that is. Or Yabba Dabba Do. But then again, I was also asking people for, James Bond M fanfic. So
that's really good. And I read The Prophets by Jason. I think it's Jason Roberts. That might be incorrect. He's a debut author, and it is very good. It's about these 2 men who are enslaved in America, and they're in a relationship, and and every chapter is a different person on the plantation, kind of reacting to finding out about them or having feelings about their lives and how they intersect with these 2 men. And they sleep away from everyone else. They're always in the barn together. And like one of them's like the grumpy, and then one's the sunshine. And it's just, but I mean, even then it's not like that. It's not like tropey, like Grumpy Sunshine, but it's still like just really, really, really good. And then I've also reading Roan Parrish, has 2 books out one's called Better Than People. And it's about these 2 guys who it's a trauma bond. 2 guys fall in love over dogs. And then the sequel's about the brother, and it's called Best Laid Plans. And it's 2 guys fall in love.
Best Laid Plans.
2 guys fall in love over redoing a house that they turn into a cat sanctuary. So
Sanctuary.
Oh my god. Is the this next one in that series called like This Line Ain't Straight or something? Because it's like all construction metaphors.
No, it's plumbers. It's laying pipe.
oh man. Guys, they're good. The second one was very trauma bondy, and I really liked it. Also with like a hair pulling kink. I liked it. Okay.
Ooh.
Good. That's what I'm reading lately. So, oh, and if you guys don't know, if you were watching Discovery of Witches on Sunday night, after the show was over, after Hangout of Witches was over, I got Lachey, our good friend Lachey, to start reading the Fever series. She just texted me. She's on book 4. It's been 3 days.
She read 4 since Sunday.
It's been 3 days.
Wow.
She's texting me her theories about barons. So I just want to say I know how to pick them, and I threw it at her, and she's gonna love it, or she's gonna hate it.
that.
Makes me so
4
happy.
books in 3 days.
Aw, that's adorable.
Yeah. So if you haven't
The
read
other
Fever,
one
that's
I've
it.
been reading that I think everyone is actually maybe interested in is the latest in the Court of Thorns and Roses series by Sarah J.
Right.
Maas. I just finished that one. It's a very, I mean, I read it on Kindle, so I don't know how thick it is, but based on the other ones, it's like thick. And it was good. It was hot. There's wings, like sensitive wings. It's very
Yeah,
hot.
I love a sensitive wing.
Me too.
Oh yeah. I'm very
It's good.
drunk. I'm like, ooh, a sensitive wing. I'm gonna go pick up some angel book I have now.
A little feather action.
I'm telling you right now, the end of Angel Fall, if you guys have not read Angel Fall by Susan E., the very
have.
last image in Angel Fall of his wings as he's carrying the protagonist is the best angel image ever.
Every once in a while, my sister, because I got my brother-in-law to read the whole Court of Thorns and Roses books, but not my sister. And so every once in a while, she'll send me just like a gif of like bat wings. It'll be like, you guys are total nerds. So I'm very into the wing thing. I'm very into it. And so was my brother-in-law, apparently.
Yeah. Well, that's disgusting.
Don't shame him. He's like living his life.
The latest Fever novel, number 11, has a lot of wing, I think, kind of wing kink in it.
A little bit. Yeah,
Christian,
it does.
Christian like gets his wings and like figures out how to deal with them and stuff. And he's
He
like,
does.
ooh. Yeah.
You're right.
I love when you expand it into people's universes. Like when my nephew was like, I'm in a book club with this girl. And I was like, what book are you reading? And it was like a Christina Lauren book. And I was like, that girl is smart as shit.
That is the best thing ever.
Oh, yeah. She's like 17. And you're just like, I'm going to show you how I want to do.
I wish I could get my daughter to read some Christina Lauren at 16. I'm like, I just gave her Sea of Tranquility. I was like, read Sea of Tranquility. You'll love it. She has not read it yet.
What does she like to read?
She rereads what she already knows that she likes. So she read Stephanie Perkins, Jenny Han, Cynthia Han. She loves the Unearthly series. So she'll just re-pick those up. And I'm like, but this is hotter. Like, you're old enough now for the hot stuff. Take this, you know. But then, I mean, is it cool if your mom gave it to you and is like, this is super hot? I don't know.
Well, I used to steal my mom's Regencies. And that was like when Regency was like rapey as hell.
Yeah.
And she knew that I had them. And then I would read like just tons of Danielle Steele, 13, 14.
My mom had Grace Livingston Hill books.
Is
Not
that like
hot.
Pilgrim Love? What is that?
I think it's modern. I think they're contemporary, but they're Christian romances.
Yeah.
And she had them out though. I mean, like they were out in the living room on the bookshelf with the Dr. Spock. So
Yeah.
My mom wasn't a reader like she was later on in life, but not when I was a teenager, but my aunt was, and she was really into like the Amish Christian romance. And so I read a ton of that because I was allowed to. But one time I checked out this book from the library that was about a basketball player and his cheerleader girlfriend. I was like in like 6th or 7th grade. And I remember going to my mom and be like, Mom, I remember being on the couch in the living room reading it and then standing up and walking to my mom and be like, Mom, this book is making me feel really funny. And she said, you need to put the book away and go do something else. And I finished that book so hard, you guys. And
How did you finish it? Like with your pillow? Like
I don't remember the details. I just started being like, my mom doesn't want me to read this, but this book is so good, guys. And I'm not supposed to, but it's so good. And since then, romance all the way. Since then.
I'm telling you what, the ache in your chest when the angst hits, that's the good stuff. Like, yes, the tingles are fun, but like that, like the fact that an author writing angst can make you go, oh, and your chest feels like hurts, that is the good stuff, man. Everybody
and I
should get to
I
experience
kind
that.
of think that's how like girls, without actually hurting their actual physical emotional heart, can experience love. Like you get to experience those emotions without actually damaging your psyche or your emotions. You get to experience those same emotions without actually hurting yourself. So important. I cannot wait to give my kids all of them, including the son. Like, I cannot wait to give them romance novels.
I'm going to find Miami Vice streaming and I'm going to give that to Ruby because that is what worked for me. Every Friday night, I would lock my door at 9:00. Good night. It's me and Don Johnson.
Don Johnson.
Which is like, it's killing me that Keenan show is so bad because he's on it, but I've still been watching it just because Don Johnson for me forever. I will
felt
watch
that way about Remington Steele and Moonlighting.
Oh, I loved Moonlighting. Oh, when she slaps him and then the song starts.
Like a lot of fighting.
Oh. Someone just said they read a lot of Judith McNaught. Same girl. Same.
I did not.
A lot of forced consent on those books.
Yeah. Now when I go back and like read any of those really old ones, I'm like, whoa, gosh.
Yeah. Oh, did Bob just walk by? Is that why people were like, hi, Bob?
At first, like my drunk brain was thinking it was George. And I was like, this is not the good time for George to come into the happy hour. Go away, George.
George should have just been here when we were talking about Ted Lasso.
That's right. He would have appreciated all of that, but none of this.
Yes.
Meredith said, I would watch Horatio Hornblower because Ian Gruffold would take off his shirt and jump into the water / get wet.
Aww.
When you were
that
little?
Was when, like, what channel was that on? That was like on the History Channel. It was like on one that's like a channel when it used to actually show shows. Like now, History Channel is just about like ancient dinosaurs and all reality TV, like American Pickers.
There's so much smut on TV too. Like my kid's watching Pretty Little Liars and Grey's Anatomy. I mean, she might as well
be me.
Right. Exactly.
She'll be just fine, Beth. Thank you.
Okay.
I just let my daughter watch the Grammys, so.
How dirty.
Wop,
you were 14 to 16.
You're bringing down the empire, Amy.
Horatio Hornblower was around. How young are you?
If the empire falling means that Puerto Rico becomes a state and so does Washington, D.C., then I'm all for empire ending.
President Cardi B.
Yeah, right. I feel like I would, her campaign slogan could just be like, that's weird. That's suspicious.
That's sus.
That's sus.
All right,
Speaking
you guys.
Of sus, one last thing.
Okay.
My daughter has got bad morals because whenever she plays now, she plays on 3 different devices. So she can join the same group and then know who all of the bad people are.
My kids play on Zoom with all their friends. Yeah.
Well, Ruby will be like, I need your phone. And then she'll have her phone and then her iPad. And I'm like, what are you doing? She's like, I'm playing Among Us. Or she'll play Murder Mystery on Roblox for the same reason, to cheat.
Wow.
Yeah.
My mom always said, if you weren't cheating, you weren't trying.
I mean, I cannot think of a single thing I didn't cheat at in terms of games. I was very good at cheating, and why would I not? I feel like cheating is advanced brain activity.
I agree.
Like, if you can figure out a way to cheat and not get caught, you're smarter than everybody else in the room. Like that's fine.
Yeah.
Like, you're smart. People that can't cheat are idiots. That's what
Bree just said Falcon Crest, and oh my gosh, I'm taken back. Dallas Dynasty and Falcon Crest. I could only watch Dallas and Falcon Crest because those came on Friday nights when I didn't have a bedtime. Dynasty came on during the middle of the week, and I wasn't allowed to stay up and watch it.
I think I was just outside of the Dynasty Dallas world. Like, I
'Cause
was
you're
too young.
young. You're too young.
My mom graduated high school in 1982, so she was super into Dynasty.
Your mom and I were shopping for stirrup pants side by side at the mall, at the merry-go-round. So
It's true.
My mom had a
Knots
Remington.
Landing. Yes. Oh, Jude Devereaux. I thought this was a blast from the past.
It is. My mom had a Remington Steel poster given to her for her 30th birthday as a gag gift. But she really was into Pierce Brosnan. So that was very
Their
fun
office
for
that they
me.
had was so sexy. It was so minimalist, and it just had like the blinds and like the desk with nothing on it but the phone, because it was really just a front. And
She never put this poster up, but I remember it very distinctly. It had a very cherry red background, and he was in a tux, but totally unbuttoned with his thing undone, just like standing there with like a gun. And we used to just go in the closet and open it and look at it and then roll it back up and put it back where it was, because she never put it up anywhere. Oh, good times.
I
Good
liked
times.
Hunter better. He was a little more gruff. He came on like before Remington Steele at 9 o'clock. Remington
I
Steele
liked
came on at
Stacy
10.
Keach. Stacy Keach was like my very first celebrity crush.
Mike
when I was, like, 4 or 5.
Hammer.
Not because of Mike Hammer, but I've told this story before. There used to be a mini series not called The North and the South. It was called The Blue and the Gray. And Stacy Keach was the protagonist. And I thought he was super cute as like a 5-year-old. And so Stacy Keach was my first like celebrity crush, because we watched the mini series The Blue and the Gray.
I
Not
loved
North and
the
South.
blue and the gray. I also love North and South. So when people talk about that British North and South thing, I'm like, la, 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 la. Like, to me, North and South is like, oh, Remain, is that you?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. I get upset about the North and the South because it was bigger than the Blue and the Gray. And for me, the Blue and the Gray was better because of Stacy Keach, even though I have no idea what those are about anymore. I haven't seen them since 1986. I have no idea what is going on in any of them. But in my mind, Blue and the Gray is better filmmaking than the North and the South.
When I went away to Clemson, I was homesick the first week. And so I went to the library. The Clemson Library, the first book I ever checked out was John Jake's North and South. And that's what I just like binge read every night to make me feel better and not miss home.
Goodness gracious. We needed better TV in the 80s and 90s is all I can say.
A lot of Matlock.
A lot of Cosby
We
Show.
had Quantum Leap hose. Like it was classic television.
That's true.
We talk about great TV today. Yeah, you get Game of Thrones. Look what they do to you in the end. You get Outlander. Look what they do to you in the end.
That's right. Speaking of Outlander, real quick, last thing. Really, honestly, last thing. We're on 2 hours of happy hour. Season 7.
What season are we currently on?
They're filming 6, so we've watched up to the end of season 5. They're filming season 6, which is, I think, somehow a mishmash of the 6th book and the 7th. No one knows what anything is going to happen. I haven't read any further. I don't care. I don't blame any of the actors for upping their contracts, because it is a guaranteed paycheck that they deserve. But there's no way that show is going to remain watchable.
Nope.
It just isn't. It was barely watchable in season 4.
Unless they rewrite like all of the source material works very well as a book. I have no idea how they make the work as a show. How?
I know how, but they don't take my suggestions.
Well, the books are more of like it becomes more the book feels more episodic. Like, it doesn't feel like a long arc in each book. It just kind of feels like the merry adventures of Jamie and Claire. So maybe make it more of like a NCIS kind of thing, where you don't necessarily need the previous episode for the next episode.
I just got a text from my husband that says, because I'm now 20 minutes late for the PTA meeting, he just said, I'm listening to the quote staggered dismissal while you're just seeing in your chat, I'm the 7th cousin twice removed from Paris Hilton. Not fair. So
He's the 7th cousin twice removed from Paris Hilton.
someone in our chat is. I don't know. We got to look back.
Oh.
Let me
I
see.
can't-
Okay,
go back.
what? Who? Claim yourself.
That's too far for me to care. I'm
It's
sorry,
it's
guys.
way back there. It's
That
way
definitely
back
has Real Housewives of Beverly Hills implications for me because Kathy Hilton is now going to be on that. So
Is the
I'm
British
interested.
North and South the one with Richard Armitage?
Yep.
Okay, that is good.
No, I believe. I mean, it looks good. It looks like it's totally in my wheelhouse. I've never just watched it, but to me, the North and South will always be,
Right.
Ori Maine and.
So watch that and then watch Miss Scarlet and the Duke, which has the hottest British guy of all time in it. And their sexual tension is off the charts.
All
In
right.
fact, we probably should do a Miss Scarlet and the Duke hangout.
Yeah, I can't get that one. I keep trying to get it, but you had to like sign up for PBS to get it, right? It's
Yeah,
not on
I have a
anything else.
PBS masterpiece like add on to my Prime.
I know, but you
Only
have
like
to
$3.
Amy Rose is cousins with Paris Hilton.
You don't have to
No.
call. No, you just add it
Yes.
to your Prime Video.
No, when I had to cancel it after the whatever of Corfu, I had to call and be like, I don't want to donate to PBS anymore. I want my $7 a month canceled, and they shamed me. So I will never do that again. Never.
Oh no.
Yeah,
Oh
no.
no.
I feel like every American should get PBS for free, regardless.
The fact that
Um,
we're paying $7 a month to get PBS streaming because we don't want to put like a cable box back on our TV is just crazy. We're all so lazy.
Yeah.
But I can't do it. I can't switch to a cable box at this late stage in
And
life.
cable like negotiates, and they'll all of a sudden be like, "Oh, sorry, we don't offer ABC anymore. It costs too much money," and then you just
Yeah.
don't get that channel anymore. So that's
That's what YouTube TV did to me. Like,
Yeah.
sorry, no more tennis channel. And
Yeah.
then Hulu was like, sorry, no more tennis channel. So now I'm buying something called FUBU.
It's Amy that's cousins with Paris Hilton.
I tried to listen to her podcast the other day, the one where she had Amy Schumer on. It was quite unlistenable.
Which part?
The Paris part.
I like her guest, like her co-host guy is Hunter from E, and I like him. I don't know.
Guys, you are talking a different language. Do not listen to Paris Hilton's podcast. Number one, I think there's too many celebrities on podcasts. They need to get out of the creative person's space, and you all need to just subscribe to the Cool Table podcast instead.
That's
and number
true.
two, what could possibly Paris Hilton have to say that is worth putting into your brain space?
Kim
Nothing.
Kardashian was her personal assistant, so a lot.
No.
It
That
was
is
like a
not
change up
helpful.
for me. It wasn't a murder podcast. The song's murder. I'm gonna watch a murder show. Murder show is now stuck in my head forever.
It is not worth your time or your brain space. Just, listen to like a decorator talk about greens.
Refugia says, tell your cousin I said hi. Hilton's are my favorite hotel. I do have a lot of Hilton points that I haven't been able to use because of COVID.
True.
I'm just saying you can find a podcast that will soothe you without making you feel weird, and it could be about, the Pantone color of the year or something. It doesn't
I
have to
just
be
sent
Paris
out a
Hilton.
newsletter for work, and I talked about the Pantone color of the
What is
actually
this year?
colors of the year. It's a bright lemony yellow and a gray that was supposed to kind of mix the ideas of resiliency of the gray, but the happiness and optimism of the ultimate yellow.
Nice.
But I feel like it's a color combination that I was really a part of like 5 years ago because I already have so much of my house decorated in gray and yellow. So either I'm ahead of the curve or
Literally, what's back there? Big
Yeah.
gray sofa, yellow,
right.
yellow accents. I'm not changing it. It's too late in the game to change it. So that's how it's staying.
Everyone keeps seeing Bob because Bob he knows when his bedtime is, and
It's that
it is
time.
now.
Yeah. All right,
It's late
guys.
there.
Happy St. Patrick's Day. Heidi, enjoy your PTA meeting. I am going to go eat the nachos that Ryan made for dinner that I didn't eat yet. And dream about all the places I'm going to go once I'm vaccinated. So I love you all. Good night. Good night. Thank you for joining us.
Sláinte! Is that the Irish?
Slanja, yeah. Bonjour. It's empty. We'll see you for Grisha Book Club and the next Bridgerton one too. Bye. Y'all are special.